welcome to this week's Wild Spirits News. My name is Sibylle, and today I'm going to talk to you about the question, can you stay positive in a world that's seemingly gone crazy? Whenever I spend a lot of time or effort catching up on political news, I get incredibly sad and frustrated. It can be so disheartening to see all that's wrong with the world, and all the hatred that goes on, and all the violence, and all the lies that are being spread, and all the bad will that people have towards others. Now, obviously, the news media feed us negative stories. We all know this. News media are companies. They are there to make money, and bad news is good news, as the old journalistic saying says. So we get this highly skewed version of the state of the world. And we may be aware of it, but it still influences us, and it can still be very disheartening and bring us down. So to come back to the original question, is it possible to stay open, to stay emotionally vulnerable and open and receptive, and keep your peace of mind in the middle of all of this? I say it is, and it's not just possible, I also say it's necessary if we are serious about wanting to create a better world. Now, the late great Stephen Covey always differentiated between what he called the circle of interest and the circle of influence. Now, very briefly summarized, the circle of influence is everything you have direct influence over. It's basically your own life. It's what you do, what you say, your attitude, and the way you react to the world. The way you react to other people and to what happens to you, because you have no influence over what other people do or what happens, but you have influence over how you react to that. Now, in contrast, the circle of interest is everything you could summarize under other people's business. So it could be politics, it could be celebrities, it could be news, everything that happens in the world that you can't directly, with your direct actions, influence. And Stephen Covey said, people who focus a lot on the circle of interest, who spend a lot of time and effort and emotional effort and energy on the circle of interest, tend to get very frustrated and very angry because they can't influence this. They see all these things and they feel very powerless. Whereas people who focus on their circle of influence tend to grow as a person and tend to have a very positive influence on others around them as well. So my first recommendation is, don't sit and contemplate the injustices of this world. You'll only bring yourself down, and it doesn't really help anyone who is affected. Now, the next very important point is to process your anger. This is incredibly important because anger can actually turn physically harmful, and there's plenty of studies about this. This is hard science, actually, how anger processes certain hormones or whatever. I'm not a medically trained person in the body that can turn against the body unless it is processed. And there are certain ways to process anger. And I want you to start by acknowledging that you feel frustrated or angry at something political, something that happened, because you're a human being and anger is a human emotion. Don't feel like a failure that you're not spiritual enough just because you're angry and you should always be positive. That is rubbish. All emotions are neutral. They're not good or bad. They're just your emotions. And it all depends on how you handle them and how you deal with them. And that makes them either good or bad. Now, here are 3 steps, 3 suggestions on how you could tackle frustration and anger and deal with them and process them. The first is time in nature. Spend some time where it's green and beautiful, or by the beach or in the mountains with fresh air. To really unplug can be incredibly beneficial, and it can give you back your perspective, and it is incredibly healing. That too has been proven scientifically. There's some chemistry behind it. It can be very beneficial for your health and also obviously for your mental state of mind and your emotional state. The second would be physical activity. Again, this is hard science. If you say you sit at the computer and you scroll through social media and you see some political articles that really make you so angry and so frustrated, get up and make a physical change, because nothing shifts energy faster than moving your body. pace up and down, stomp a little bit, do a wild dance, get outside and take a walk just around the house or the block. Just a few minutes can often be enough to shift that energy and to get you back on an even keel. The third thing is to take deep breaths. When we're angry, we tend to tense up and take really shallow breaths, which just helps to increase the stress that we're feeling, because anger is a type of stress in terms of your body. So consciously relax, drop your shoulders, and take 1 or 2 deep breaths all the way into your lower belly. And if you have to scream, just let out this primal scream. This can be incredibly relaxing and get you back into balance and process your anger. Now, the last point that I would like to make is that you need to realize that people are good. This might sound naive, especially if you've just spent a lot of time online discussing with people in social media. This is one thing I want to tell you: never ever argue with people on social media. People on social media are not there to learn or to change their point of view or to gain understanding. They are there to win an argument. And that is incredibly toxic. It's my opinion that you cannot convince somebody in a political discussion on social media. Trust me, I've tried. Don't do it. Just don't get involved. Scroll past. Don't waste your precious time and emotional energy on it. It'll just bring you down, make you angry and so sad and so frustrated. It's really not worth it. So the more time you spend online, the more skewed your view of the world can become. Some people seriously think that the world is full of evil people, that people are bad, and that there's nothing redeeming about them. So stay away from the online discussions and actually look at the people around you. Realize how good people actually are. You will notice that some people may not have the full picture. They may have wrong information. They may have skewed opinions. But in the end, they are trying to do their best and to do the right thing to the best of their knowledge and ability. And it's incredibly touching to realize this about people. There are always exceptions, but the vast majority of people are actually at core really good people. And lastly, in order to counteract and to balance everything that's wrong with the world, spend your time and effort on creating a different world. Instead of despairing over what exists, create what you want to exist. And there the passions come in. I always talk about that, and I will keep talking about it until you're blue in the face. Prioritize your passion and find your purpose and live that. Spread that joy. Pursuing your passion makes you joyful, and that joy and love and gratitude and all these good things that you're feeling are 10 times stronger than negative emotions are. And this creates waves around you. This influences the world around you, and it literally, quite literally, creates a better world. If you want a joyful world filled with love and with happy people, then be a joyful person filled with love, happy. Would you like to join my tribe of wild spirits? All you need to do is go to wildspiritscoaching.com and fill in the little form there. You'll receive a weekly email full of information and recommendations, inspiration, and special offers that are often exclusive to the people on my email list. So go to wildspiritscoaching.com and sign up. You can also Google Wild Spirits Coaching. That'll get you to my website as well. I promise I will never ever spam you, nor will I ever share your details with anyone else. Thanks for watching.